Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented her 8th consecutive budget, and it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who stated that this is people's budget. To talk more on this, I am being joined by Minister of State for Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. It is, of course, Prime Minister who stated that this is people's budget, and India is working towards the developed India, the Viksit Bharat, that's the mission by 2047. How do you respond to the charges that had been levelled by the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, saying that the economic crisis, to solve that, it needs a paradigm shift?
No, I think there are two parts to this, to what you asked. A, as Prime Minister rightly mentioned, it's an inclusive budget, it's people's budget. It's been largely welcomed across the lines and across the sections of society throughout the country. And of course, there's a focus on the middle class, there's a huge relief coming in by way of the tax relief and also exemptions in certain vital areas like essential drugs, medicines, cancer drugs, etc., etc. Also setting up cancer centers in each of the district hospitals. So, of course, that's all addresses the common man's common issues. Now, as far as the second part of it is concerned, that LOP or the other opposition leaders not appreciating it and criticizing it, I think one precise answer, the single sentence answer would be that one doesn't expect them to appreciate, because they had to oppose it for the sake of opposition. And it's also quite possible, if you do some research, many of them may have come with prepared statements right from their home. They, even before having the speech being read out by the finance minister, they would have already carried the statement in their pocket. And look at, we'll say this is a lollipop budget, this is a populist budget, this is a election-oriented budget. I mean, these are some of the, the dictionary phrases which are used by the opposition. So I don't think it needs to be taken very much seriously or given much of a credibility or deserves to be spent time or energy on it. But for academic correction, yes, when somebody says in India the economy requires paradigm shift, I agree to that. But I do not agree when they say this not happened, because they are not able to appreciate it, or they are not able to comprehend it, or they don't have the will or the open-mindedness to accept it. This budget actually is a reflection of paradigm shift. And today we live in an age of talking with evidence, and I tell you how. For example, something which is not being very often discussed, which is going to catch up as the days pass by, and I think it's going to be a subject of discussion across the world, is the declaration of the nuclear energy mission. Absolutely. Now, this is a 360-degree shift. Who would in this country ever imagine that one day the budget would announce opening up or involving the private sector in our nuclear programs? Because the country had reconciled, the nation had been developed the mindset of working behind a wheel of confidentiality. But yes, rightly so, if you have to move on in economy, you can't do that without involving private sector. Prime Minister has the courage of conviction. Absolutely. And also has the capacity to break the taboos of the past. He did that in case of space, when he unlocked the space, and you see the quantum jump that we have. Space is becoming an important component of Indian economy now. And there's a huge investment, domestic as well as international collaboration. Similar scenario will eventually develop in the nuclear. Secondly, when he says of paradigm shift, the other point which is being missed, maybe he has not even read the speech, India has laid down a target of 100 gigawatt nuclear power generation by 2047. So it's amazing. There was a time India used to follow, and world looked at us as follows. Today we are laying down the targets, we are laying down the timelines, and telling and sending across a message, look here, now India has arrived, now we can give a lead, we can lay the goalpost, we can. So, and similarly, you have 20,000 crore for nuclear modular reactors, small modular reactors. It's something that every country in the world is, trying to get into it. Correct. And India has already earmarked it, we are already way ahead. And if you couple it with some of the other decisions which happened in the first 100 days, like the announcement of the bioeconomy related biotechnology policy, Bio E3, or the allocation of 50,000 crore for National Research Fund, it forms an ecosystem. And this, if you see it in continuity, today's budget, the vote of account mentioned 1,000 crore for space startups. This mentions again 20,000 crore for R&D innovations, deep tech startups, and a deep tech mission, green tech mission. So all this you see in totality, the first part of the budget, which happens to be the vote of account in case of the election year, and this budget. This is a huge paradigm shift happening, which will not only boost the economy, which will not only make the economy technology driven, green energy driven, bioeconomy driven, but it will also raise the esteem of India in the global arena.
Dr. Singh, because you also control the Ministry of Science, and a lot of youth are very much enthusiastic about what's happening in the space sector as well. The ISRO has been planning for multiple missions in the upcoming years. How do you find the budget allocation as far as the space sector is concerned?
Space sector also there is a budget hike. In fact, there has been continuous budget hike funds as far as the funds per se is concerned ever since this government came in. Even in the space sector, for example, in 2013-2014, the space fund of the UPA government was just about 13,879 crore. Today it is 37,483 crore, which means a hike of 170%. So even the space sector is a hike of 170%. And you will be fascinated when I tell you the other component of the Department of Science, the Ministry of Science Technology, which happens to be CSIR, Council of Scientific Research. In the last 10 years, there has been a rise of nearly 1,000%. And you will not believe, and so I'll tell you the figures. In CSIR in 2013-14, it was 2,013 crore. Today it is 230.75 crores. It is from 2013 crore, it has gone up to 6,658 crore, which makes a hike of 258 crore, 230%. So, so government has been very forthcoming because Prime Minister Modi has been taking a percentage. Then, if you see in the last 100 days, the mission Mausam was announced with a 200 crore allocation. So, if you put this totality, because the first part of the budget has happened with the vote of, and this part of this is a huge science-driven, technology-driven, with a lot of path-breaking decisions, including this nuclear mission.
Dr. Singh, I can't end this conversation without asking about AI, because Prime Minister has spoken a lot about AI, India becoming a global hub in the upcoming years as well. What's there in this budget for the artificial intelligence?
Yeah, of course, the announcement of setting up a center of excellence for artificial is something which very few countries across the world has still planned. And then also combining it with 50,000 additional Atal Tinkering Labs. This is a sequel to the announcement of the government of the cabinet decision taken to extend the Atal mission, Atal Tinkering mission. So all this is in a way not only going to add up the boost or foster the startup movement, it's also going to create new avenues of livelihood and also generate revenue in the process.
Lastly, your response to those leaders, the opposition leaders particularly, who have stated that this budget is just to make happy, the government wants to make happy the alliance partners, specifically the JDU in Bihar, TDP in Andhra Pradesh.
But tell me, in a lighter way, if someone owes allegiance to Congress party or Aam Aadmi party, will he not get the same tax relief which has been announced by the finance minister? I could have believed that if the budget said, look here, these reliefs are only meant for the voters of BJP or the voters of NDTV. Has the budget ever mentioned that? Nowhere. Am I right? The budget is equally providing the similar benefits even to those who are not voting for NDA or who don't claim to be NDA supporters. So either they should have the moral courage and say, look here, this budget is meant to please NDA and therefore we are not going to take the benefit of that. They would not say that. So I think we don't need to take them seriously.
Dr. Singh, thank you so much for speaking to us on the very important day. It was a union budget that was announced today by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and that was MOS for Prime Minister's Office, Dr. Jitendra Singh, speaking to NDTV.